Big timer. What's up, man? We are now live. We're on the YouTube right now, our second YouTube channel. That's Fantasy Couch Podcast. We're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, we're on Google Play Music, on everything. But right now we're focusing on the second YouTube channel. You can watch us or you can hear us on iTunes and the other stuff, but we're doing it and we go live so you can tune in with the chat. I like this little intimate setup. And we have split screen right now with Mike Mattal. What's up, man?
What's up, everybody? What's up, Rain? Oh, man, that draft party we just had, I'm still recovering from, so just let everybody know.
People don't know how tough it was. But, hey, man, it's like, it's like 1 a.m. on the East Coast right now or something, and we actually have fans tuning in. That's so awesome. Big Timer is like, is this Brain? That's why I started off like, yeah, it's me. So Big Timer is here. Non-Hype Beast is here. Hey, what's up, man? Lance Torres got his message retracted. He probably said he tried to say something cool, but the bots didn't like it. Coleman McLeod, what's up, man? Big fan.
It's McLeod.
That's how I always pronounce it. It makes him feel special, Mike. Lance Torres, what's up? Okay, he got a message through. So we got a few people here. I kind of like when there's not a lot of people. It's pros and cons, because when there's too many people, it gets all rowdy and people try saying a bunch of cool stuff to get my attention, and it's just like sometimes it's too much. So it's cool just to have like 5 people in here sometimes. It's more chill. The podcast is more chill. It's like sitting on the couch, chilling, drinking a beer, huh?
Just like sitting on a fantasy couch, like just chilling.
So we just had our couch draft party. It was a huge success. People don't realize the amount of work it takes. And it's like people are like, hey, I should throw a party like this. Or like, hey, I want to do this on my channel. Like, I kind of know it's unlikely because you have to be insane. And you have to almost die to pull it off. It's just nuts. Like, what are your thoughts of what happened this past weekend?
Wow. I mean, it just keeps getting better every year. And it just like amazes me. Like, but I know like every time we're going to do draft, it's going to be bigger and better. Like, I just know it. I have that feeling. But this year I was like, I had that really like in your gut feeling like this one's going to be like memorable. Sure enough, it was like it's like the stars aligned. Everything came together, and this one, if you haven't seen the video, go to YouTube right now. It's definitely worth a watch. It's like you would think it was long. This is the first time I really watched a 20-minute YouTube video, like beginning to end, and didn't feel like it was 20 minutes. Like that's how good it was to me.
Yeah,
Unbiased.
It was so weird because like everywhere I went, I heard Jeremy's name. I told you this. So like I was in line at a restaurant, and they called Party of 5 Jeremy. And then the TV was on, and they were like, "Is it Jeremy or Jeremiah?" And then the next day, I heard Jeremy, and I'm like, "Dude, should we invite?" And Mike's like, "Dude, don't invite. Like, he's not gonna show. Like, are you like?" He's like, "They say, are you serious?" And I said, "Like, this is dumb. I'm not gonna invite this guy. He never shows up. He always flakes. Like, it's just not. He moved far away. That's the point, guys. And he was the old champ, but he's an entertaining guy though." And I came up with the idea like, hey, if we're going to have him, he has to buy his plane ticket. And I text Mike a receipt of the plane ticket, and Mike's like, yep, that's good enough. He's in. But wait, we'll have a story about that. But before we get into that, I have to shout out our sponsor. We're so thankful for PFF for sponsoring this podcast. I've had other opportunities to get other sponsors, but I chose PFF because I absolutely love their service. So thank you so much, PFF, for sponsoring and keeping the dream alive. So guys, PFF Fantasy is another section they have in PFF. It's not just NFL, but they also have PFF Fantasy with it's the best rankings. Other than my rankings, it's the best rankings. It's the one I compare my rankings to. So PFF Fantasy is awesome section on Pro Football Focus. You can join PFF Edge for full access to PFF's player projections, fantasy draft resources, matchup charts, and of course their award-winning fantasy content. All you got to do is use promo code MVP20 to save 20% on your subscription. If you're into high stakes and NFL lines like me and Mike, we're into that stuff. We're always looking at the Vegas lines every single week. Yep. We're going to be doing it on this podcast too. You can also get PFF Elite. That's what I have, and that's what I use. And you get Premium Stats 2.0. You get exclusive player performances, stats across every position. Elite subscribers also get the new PFF Greenline Pick Center and DFS Optimizer. That's Daily Fantasy Sports Optimizer. I love the PFF grades. Everyone knows about the grades, CBS, Taza. Everyone talks about it. Player grades. They watch every single player, every play, and that's how they grade the players. Another tool I love on there is a wide receiver cornerback matchup chart. Gets to know like who's covering, who's Xavier Rhodes covering, who's this guy covering. Very helpful.
Ooh,
yeah, it's useful.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, in your head you know like 5 or 10 matchups, but it's like it's good to know. For me especially, it's really good to know because I get all these questions and it's good to look at. So you can sign up at profootballfocus.com and use promo code MVP20 to get 20% off. Join PFF Fantasy today and prepare to win. Let's talk about the couch draft party. So Jeremy came and he's polar opposite. So Jeremy was the old champ back in 2011, 2012.
We got to give people context like who he is though. Like
you know him the best.
World, you know. In our network. So we went to college together. Actually, I went to high school with Jeremy. Like we weren't as good of friends, but like, you know, he was an acquaintance. Like I knew him in high school. Then we figured out, hey, we're moving to the same college, Sac State. So we're like, why don't we move in, get a condo or whatever? So we did. And then we met Drew at the intramural games, and then you met Jeremy. But basically, I mean, he's been with the couch since the beginning, and he's just a crazy
He was on
guy.
Fantasy Fix
for 5 years.
Before it was Fantasy Couch.
He's actually like the oldest, like true Fantasy Couch, like guest. Like it was crazy, man. But he's just a character. Like he's insane. So that's just some context for you guys who don't know who we're talking about here.
So he won the league the first year. He won the league the second year. He's like the villain of the league, but a villain in a good sense because Batman is horrible. It's trash without the Joker. Everyone loves the Joker. So it's like you gotta have Batman, who's I guess Batman's like Mitchell or something. You gotta have Joker, and
yeah, he's
the villain was back this year, and he did not disappoint. He got the #1 beer pong. That was funny when you were shouting white privilege, and I was like, I'm not gonna put that in the YouTube video, but then I wanted to. I was like, dude, it's entertaining. But what happened was I was strictly editing just getting the good parts, and I guess it just didn't make it. Like, and I'm not gonna go back and the editing's like it's an art, and you got to make sure it's fast paced. And I guess that part didn't make it. But hey, if you're following me on Snapchat, you heard it. Hussein the Brain on Snapchat.
Everyone caught that. I didn't think everyone would catch that. I kind of said it under my breath, but like I think I said it a little louder than
was it in the YouTube video?
No, it wasn't
okay, because I heard some stuff. I don't think it was. It was definitely on Snapchat because you were right next to me.
Oh, yeah,
my phone was like near you. It was on Snapchat.
Everyone laughed.
It was hilarious. But it's true. He got the first pick. He won it, and I was like, did he really want? Because some people don't want the first pick. He got the first pick, and that was an awesome idea you had to do beer pong. It was, and for the video though too, it was awesome. And a couple people told me I'm definitely going to implement that into my draft. So we did beer pong for the draft order. Then we had the podium. We did the draft. We had the old champ meet the new champ at the podium. It was funny. Anyway, most of the people here saw the video already. But if you didn't, go to the main channel, Fantasy Couch, youtube.com/Fantasy Couch, and check out the video. Non-Hype B says that's a really unique idea. That's all Mike. That was.
Thank you. No, I was at. Can I tell him the story about how like. So I was going to go with this like weird old timey like raffle machine that was like gold, and I don't know what like I thought like, hey, let's just put some ping pong balls to be like the NBA lottery, you know. But then like I thought about it, I'm like, that's not really gonna work because like you can see the numbers on the balls. There's not enough balls to make it look, like a good shot. So I was like, this is not gonna work. Like we need to scrap that idea totally. So I used all my creative energy and I just thought of this and it just came. And when I thought of it, I was like, Hussein, this is it. Like, don't think of anything else. He's like, no.
I never played beer pong, so I doubted you. But I knew it was a good idea. I just was like, I was hesitant.
You're hesitant because you've never played, but people who have played, they know it's like the best game ever to like determine things. Like it's just like visually appealing, it's fun. Like when people miss, it's funny. When people make it, it's amazing. And I just saw this vision in my head, and I was like, and it's easy to do. I was so happy because I didn't have to buy a $60 like raffle gold thing that I would only use once for the
it would have been I set up that bingo shot in my head, And I was like, this is gonna be
It's
good.
horrible.
This was gonna be horrible. This is
It was gonna be horrible. Like as soon as
this is
I
so
imagined it,
much high. It's like action. It was
way
so
better.
good.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it, and I was like, maybe this idea won't like be good in actual real life, but it was. It was everything I
We
thought it
got
would
two
be.
camera angles on it. It was, and we had the Snapchat going. It was crazy, guys. If you haven't seen the video, you have. It's the best video I've ever uploaded in my whole. I've been videographer.
Like
I work
right?
with art. I work with platinum artists. No, no. This was the best video I've ever uploaded. And what's so dope is that we stuck to this through our failures. Like it wasn't going so well, and then finally when we uploaded this one, we hit gold. Like it was so crazy. The view it was like 400 something comments.
The comments too, man. Much love to the people in the comments as well. This is the first year I have to tell people that I got positive feedback on my team, and it's honestly like I'm touched and honored by it. Like I had to like thank everybody because I never got any positive feedback.
Your team's good, but I hate to say the comments are always wrong. They are. It's tough to predict. Yeah,
well, they're not wrong about Mitchell's team.
He won last year though, so that's.
I know,
guys. So what? We had something fun. So we've met a lot of celebrities doing this, a lot of pro athletes. So we came up with a fun list, a top 10 list. It's gonna be fun. But before we get into that, we have a big announcement here. I wrote a book, and a lot of you have heard about it, and it's finally coming out. For someone who doesn't read and write that much, like I've only read one book my whole life.
What book was it?
Martin, like the rats, like the grapes of wrath. I don't know, one of those. It was Martin's like a rat, and he has like a sword. It's like Lord of the Rings, but with it's like Lord of the Rings, but with rats. And I finished it all the way. I was still zoning out through it, but I really.
You were little?
Yeah, I was like probably 12. That's the only book I read from front to end.
It could be anything. That book could be anything.
Yeah, maybe I dreamt it. I don't know. But anyway, I don't read and write well, so it was a huge accomplishment. This was the toughest thing I ever did in my whole life. And it was so tough. So that's coming out tomorrow, hopefully. I don't have all the details because my friend who's publishing it, he's just really busy and trying to do everything last minute. So he's going to tell me how I'm going to promote this book. I still don't know yet. But it's like...
You got to go on a tour, a book signing.
Well, no, this is the this is the digital version. So this is the point. This is the point right here. So tomorrow the book's probably coming out at like noon, maybe 3 p.m. Eastern or noon Eastern, something like that. So it's gonna come out tomorrow at noon or 3 p.m. something like that. And we have to go on Amazon. Everybody, Mike's gonna go. I'm gonna go. All my friends and family's gonna go. We're gonna buy the book. I need to ask him how you do that because like if you buy it, I don't know if it'll count. But if you do. You can also deliver it to somebody too, or use their account. So we're trying to get as many book sales tomorrow, only tomorrow, for the next the first 24 hours, as many digital book sales as we possibly can. The goal is to get #1 bestseller on Amazon. If I don't get that, it's that or but I mean, there's no other like we're getting that. We're gonna do that with your help. Okay, I need your support. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to follow me on wherever. I'm going to probably be on the other YouTube channel. I'm going to definitely be on Facebook Live, probably Instagram Live, Snapchat, Twitter, everything. I'm going to blast all over the place tomorrow. It's going to be all over. And I'm going to promote the book, tell you guys how to get it. It's going to be 99 cents only for 24 hours. Then it's going to go back up to $10. So just for 99 cents. We gotta buy it. We gotta get #1 best. The Tale of Despero. I don't know if that's the name of the book. I don't know.
Who said that?
Non-Hype Beast. I don't know if that's it. Like if I see the cover, I know. I'm pretty sure the rat's name is Martin. The Tale of Despero.
Okay. No, we're just gonna go with the Tale of Despero. Like
heck no, that's not it, bro. It's like a Ratatouille movie. Nah, he's trolling me like you, Mike. No, that's not it. So anyway, guys, the book's called How to Play Fantasy Football. It's by Hussein Aksu. So that's how you spell my real name right there. By Hussein Aksu. I just typed it in the chat. It'll be up tomorrow. It's going to mean a lot to me if you guys buy it and help support. It's going to be worth it. And why we're doing this top 10 list is because... Is the preface your favorite part of the book, Mike?
I think so. I mean, I'm glad you
You
added
told
it
me to
because
add it.
without it, I don't think there's a book
Yeah.
really. Like this is important. Like these stories that we are telling, you know, people want to hear about that sometimes more than the actual like fantasy content, you know. Because people love stories. People love good stories, and books have to have, you know, something memorable about them that, you know, makes you attached to the author, makes you root for them. And I think these stories that we put in there and this list, some of these are in the book. A lot of them are in the book. I think it's very interesting. People will love it
So
when
he's
they read
asking
it.
what time, noon or 3 p.m. So yeah, Mike was like, "Hey, you got to add a little intro about your life, about your story," and I
Of
added
course.
that, and it was like, I'm not a natural writer. I added that, and
Hey,
it
great.
brought the whole book together. It was just amazing. That's my favorite part too, is the preface, and
Me
in that
too.
preface, it's all about believing, and it's all about like what I went through, and I was like, man, is my story really interesting? Because it's weird, because it happened to me, and I don't know how people are gonna react, and it is. It's a very
It
interesting story.
is.
It's
It's
very
very interesting.
intense. It's like, how is this real? And it is. And that's fun. Mike, I just texted Dio like a few weeks ago. I was like, he's like, who's this? I'm like, Hussein, Drew's friend. He's like, oh, what's up, brother? And I
No.
was like, dude, I wrote a book and you're in it. He's like, what?
Oh
I was like,
no.
yeah, you're in the story. I was like, you probably forgot what happened, because he's not, don't mean nothing to him, but it
Yeah,
means something to
exactly.
me. So anyway, guys,
Shout
read the
out.
book, read the story. It's amazing. I mean, I put a lot of work into it. Hopefully, it's ended up really well. We went the whole shebang: the promotion, the book cover, the what's the editing, everything. There's pictures in there. So this okay. Enough said. Let's do it. So we got a top 10 list.
Let's
Our
do it.
top 10 celebrity encounter, people we've met, people we've worked with, and we're gonna start from number 10 and work our way to
Yeah, start
number
from
one.
10.
You do even, I do odd. All right, it's cool. Go ahead.
Okay. So we're gonna start with a very famous adult actress, Phoenix Marie. How did this happen again? So we knew a guy who knew Jeremy
Jeremy,
actually, and he
celebrity trainer. He
yeah,
trains celebrities.
celebrity trainer. He looked like Gronk. He came to our draft one time. His name is Chris Drago. He lives in LA, celebrity trainer. One of his clients happens to be adult actress Phoenix Marie. And he's like, dude, like, yeah, I'm her trainer. Like, I can give me one of her shirts and I'll give it to her. So we're like, all right, cool, yeah. So we ship him out like a pink fancy couch tank top. We had a bunch at the time, and sure enough, we look at her IG feed and she posts it, her wearing it on her IG, which got us a lot of, interaction, let's say, from our fans. So that was really neat. I really did not think she would do that, but she's definitely a friend of the couch. Hopefully, maybe we could get her on the
Yeah,
show.
she saw the shirt. She absolutely loved it, so she posted it.
Lisa Ann is really big at fantasy, by the way. We need to hit her up because she would be.
Hey,
Oh man,
but
if we got her on the
yeah,
podcast
but
ever,
she's
that'd be
not gonna
great.
redo it for free. Phoenix Marie did it for. She
No,
did it
no,
out
no,
of
no.
love,
Yeah,
and
definitely
all
not for
these people
free.
were for free. Actually, some of them pay. Some of them
Yes,
paid
some
us.
of them paid,
Yeah,
which
we
is
did. We did.
weird.
We that's what's dope about the story is it's all from humble beginnings. We did this all? We started this with I had
Yep.
$150 and we bought a domain.
I had
Yeah, it
negative
was.
money. I was
We
pretty
started
broke.
this with no money, and still, like, we all these people. Okay, so number 9 is Joe Mixon. If you guys haven't seen that video, you got to see it. It's a crazy story how I
Link.
met him on Instagram, and I got to go there and film his workout. His dad was there. His dad went to the same school as high school as John Madden, so he talked
Freedom High School, by the way, in Antioch, for people
he
who don't
talked
know.
about him a lot. Like he couldn't stop talking about John Madden to me. I was like, okay. So anyway, it was weird. But
Okay.
Joe Mixon, he worked a lot on catching the ball and receiving the ball. And that's when I was like, my theory was right. Like, this is the new, like, if you're going to be a running back in the NFL, you have to also be a receiver.
Gotta
Like, you got to
catch. You
catch.
have to.
And it just started this, like, this is the year it's going to start where it's like, you're a running back, you have to catch the ball. So number 9 is Joe
Got
Mixon. That was a cool encounter.
Great footage,
Yeah,
by the way.
thank you.
Incredible footage. Number 8, Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter. This was kind of crazy. So, one of my best friends, he lives in Stockton. He invited me because Jack Dorsey was there for like a town hall meeting. Really, he was there to promote Square. It was just like 5 or 6 years ago. So he's coming into Stockton like at this like bar or this beer brewery. So we listened to him like talk about Square, trying to pitch it to small business owners. And then after his speech, he's like, okay, like people can ask him a question. So like literally the whole room lined up. I got there pretty early, so I was like in the front. So I got to ask him a question like point blank. And this is the only question to me that was even relevant that matters. And I was like, how do you get a verified check on Twitter? And he told me straight from his mouth that the way that they do it is by fake accounts, like the number of fake accounts people create, impersonating a celebrity or a public figure. Like somehow they have like an algorithm or something that flags it to give that person, a verification check. I don't know. We haven't got one still. Either not a lot of people are trying to fake our account or what, but we definitely deserve one, I think, if anyone.
Yeah, we actually have a couple fakes, but yeah, still don't have that blue check,
yeah,
Dorsey.
We need that.
Help us out. So number 7 is Derek Carr. Tell that story really quick, how you met Derek Carr.
Oh yeah, okay. So Derek Carr, I used to live in Livermore. I went to 24-hour fitness. I used to go there to work out. Obviously, I went to the basketball court. I see Derek Carr there with like probably a handful of like Raiders or people on the practice squad, and they're playing pickup against regular people. I get on the court with them, and literally I get switched. So Derek Carr is like guarding me, and then he's like, "Yeah," I was like weird, and then I went around him. I missed the layup, whatever. He gets the ball in a breakaway for a layup. Someone, I don't know if he didn't know who Derek Carr was, comes up close like to him, like he was going to undercut him on the layup. And Derek Carr is furious, turns around, starts yelling him like, "Don't you ever like try to undercut me. Like, you could ruin my career," basically he was saying. But it was kind of crazy just to see that, like real passion and real, like from him.
He could ball
like,
too,
just
huh?
to a normal person. Oh yeah, he's a great. Oh, he looks like JJ Redick out there. I don't know if anyone's ever seen JJ Redick play basketball, but that's like Derek Carr is just like great jump shot, very athletic, smart, plays hard on defense. So it was surreal to actually be guarded by.
And number 6 is Tyreek Evans. And I was sick that day, but I couldn't pass this up. We got an interview with him, all for free because we knew someone that knew his brother. It was awesome. So I go up to Tyreek Evans' house, and his brother's really talkative, like charismatic. He raps. He has a clothing line. Tyreek,
Doc
Evans,
Doc,
yeah, he's a cool dude, real cool dude. And Tyreek's like really shy. He doesn't talk much. So the total opposites. And then like I don't know how it happened, but I'm interviewing. You guys probably seen the Zeke bobblehead. Like it's a really big doll of Zeke. And Tyreek has the same thing. Tyreek Evans had this big doll, like it's like a creepy thing. And I'm like interviewing this doll and waiting for Tyreek to show up. And he shows up. It's a very cringy interview. It's like really bad. But I need to mash it up and make like a best of, like an ultimate cringe compilation of the interview, like a little 40 seconds. Yeah. I'm gonna make that don't go watch the video. I'll tell you that right now. Wait for the cringe compilation and go watch that, because that interview is just atrocious. It's funny though. So we'll see. And I like how the haters are like, "I knew this was gonna be a stunt. I knew you're not gonna interview the real time." Oh, and then Tyreek Evans actually showed up. It was funny.
How many people did that? How many people did that? Like 5? 2. Oh, 2? Real haters?
That's a lot. That's before we were popular. So. And then number 5 was Taylor Gabriel. Went to his house in Atlanta. He's just a cool dude. He's very like wary to meet us at first, but then he's like, "I don't know about these guys." It's me and Scope. But then once he met us, he really liked us. He took us in a ride. He had like this Jeep Cherokee, but it was supercharged. Ooh. It was like 550 horsepower. It had drag racing mode. Like a Jeep Cherokee with like 500, 600 horsepower or something. It was just insane. I screamed a little bit, like at a high pitch. Yeah, it had turbo. Like, so we were gonna do a series called Turbo with Turbo, but then like he didn't like stay in touch with us. But. It's all good. He treated us well that day, and it was awesome. So he said, "Hey, just come in, like let's just take a quick spin." I was like, "All right."
This Make a Wish. What's going on? You guys are too old.
Hey, he made a wish.
I'm kidding.
And then Mooch. You think Mooch hates us?
Oh, Mooch does it. Yeah, he hates
Mooch is he's such a sick coach, and he's such a great. He's like one of the best dudes on TV. Steve.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's killer. I guess that's about it with him. I don't want to talk about him. I love him though. I love him. That's not. But we're trying to move on. We're not trying to dwell on it. Oh, number 3.
Oh, this guy.
This is so crazy. Jimmer Fredette, he dodged us for so long. Never wanted to do it. Not because he doesn't like. He's always at home. He just doesn't like going out. I mean, the guy doesn't drink alcohol. You know, he eats healthy. He's Mormon. He's Mormon. He just watches basketball all day, and then he practices playing basketball, and that's all he does. And we've been trying to get a 3-point contest with him, and he just doesn't like kicking it with us. But then we did. And what happened?
That was insane. So it was like at a charity. It was for charity.
No, it was like a kid. It was like a fans night, but for kids. For kids, yeah.
Yeah, for kids. I don't know. So we get invited somehow. Hussein's filming the event, so that's how. And then he invites me because like I'm his friend, obviously. So I somehow snuck. They convinced Jimmer to do a 3-point. Like they convinced him it was for the kids, right? So then I sneak into it somehow. I'm on the basketball / tennis court at this like mansion, right? It's crazy. Like this is on top of the hills in Sacramento at this multi-million-dollar house. I'm practicing literally for 2 hours before the event because I know this is gonna happen.
You really wanted to beat him, dude.
I wanted to beat Jimmer. I was like dreaming about this event happening. Never thought it would. It actually becomes a reality. So I'm like, I'm not gonna.
This is how much it meant to you. Mike is really good at basketball. Like he's amazing basketball IQ. He's great at basketball, but he never had a good shot. So it was kind of easy to. He's one-dimensional game, so it was easy to go. If you can play a little defense, you can guard. This guy turned into a great shooter within word of this. So he had about a month. Notice this guy all he did at the gym was shoot threes all day, and actually now Mike can shoot threes now all of a sudden. Like he's a really good 3-point shooter, and then he's practicing. All right, so now you're practicing.
Watch the video. Just watch the video. If you guys haven't seen it, type it in. But you see, I'm the first one to go. I swished the first. This is NBA range 3-pointer, by the way. I don't know why they made us do this, but like, yeah. So my first one, swish. I'm thinking like I'm about to beat Jimmer. Like this is reality. And then 3 of the next 4 like barely clanked. Like it hit rim. Like it was crazy, man. Like I should have made at least.
You practiced too much the day of. You just didn't stop shooting.
I wore myself out. But my first one, if you look at the video, was perfect textbook. Like
the confidence down too. Yeah,
the confidence was
it is what it is.
Great. It was only a fraction. It doesn't matter. The point is, Jimmer has helped us get many views. Like I did a video about why he's not in the NBA, got like almost 50K views. What he's done, just indirectly for our brand has been tremendous. So I'll always have, love for Jimmer. I wish him the best. It's great to see him in China now. He's the MVP of the Chinese league. He deserves a chance in the NBA, okay? I hope he finds it. He's a little older now, so teams are probably not willing to give him a shot. I think he deserves it. I think he gets on the team this year. Jazz, if you're listening,
sign that would be.
What are you waiting for?
Utah would go berserk. Number 2, we have. This is our biggest celebrity. This is and this is in the book
it's the
too.
Figure ever.
So we're doing this, guys. By the way, if you're just joining in, we're doing this because I just wrote a book, How to Play Fantasy Football. It's getting published tomorrow. We're all going there. Everyone, Mike, me, family, friends, we're all going there, buying the book for 99 cents. It's going to be 99 cents for the first 24 hours only. We're going to get that.
Buy 10 copies, everybody.
Anything, yeah. We're getting that #1 bestseller. That's the goal. We're not going to settle for anything less. Terry Miller's here. He says, "I remember Fredette at BYU." Yeah, he was killing it at BYU. Now
you might have had the best college career ever if you look at it.
He's killing it in China. And then when me and Mike, Jimmer's like a little like he's not like trying to like destroy the kids there. He's just trying to have a good time. Make sure.
But he wasn't trying to lose. You could tell, like, he's not losing.
Dude,
like,
he's not missing a 3-point. He shot the 3-pointers like I shoot layups. It was so weird.
Yeah.
He just, like...
It was crazy. Like a flick of the wrist.
He's like, meh. And it just kept going in. Like, the guy's insane. Anyway, Number 2, Mark Zuckerberg. Mike, you met this guy twice.
Twice, weird. Usually people don't meet him once, but I started my career in Silicon Valley. I mean, I've been working out there. I used to work for this startup called Talent House. It was in downtown Palo Alto. It was a startup for like creative artists, like giving them a platform. It was ahead of its time. I don't know. It probably is not a business anymore. But anyways, so I was I was an intern there. I got paid, but barely. But basically, my job was to do like social media, do outreach, reach out. So I had another coworker there. She's like, "Hey, my dad works at Facebook. He's an engineer. Like he's pretty like high up. Like, do you want to go there? There's an ice cream. There's a truck outside giving away what was it? Chip Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I remember this vividly. So like, yes, let's go. I want to get free ice cream." So we all go there, and then we're just walking. We have our ice cream. We're walking around the quad with her dad. He's like, and then we see like 30 feet away. I see him. It's like a unicorn. Like if you see a unicorn, like you're shocked. Like, what is that? And I see Zuck. Like he's not that big. He's like probably 5'7", honestly. So he's wearing his gray t-shirt, plain gray, jeans, sunglasses, walking through the quad by himself, no one around him. The dad goes, "Hey, Mark, hey." And then Mark, comes up to us. He's like, "Hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Hey, these are my daughter's friends from her work from Talent House. They just wanted to come by and say, see the campus." And then I'm just like, wow, this is my opportunity. You always told me to bring a business card. I'm like, "Hey, Mark. Hey, Mr. Zuckerman, nice to meet you. I just wanted to give you my business card. My name is Mike Mattal. Like, it's called Fancy Couch. It's a fantasy sports website, whatever. Here's my business card." Like, and I gave him the couch-shaped logo business card. He takes it like nervously, like he didn't want to take it. I could tell. Puts it in his pocket. He's like, "Thanks, yeah, I'll check it out," and then walks away. Like he hated that whole interaction. And we're just like, "Oh my god, I can't believe we just ran into Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook." And then I met him another time. I would work social media for another company, and I got invited to this like town hall meeting where he was speaking. I met him again, and it was just not as weird, but it's just weird to see him up close. Like it's weird. It's fascinating to me. Richest man.
And there's a reason why we're doing this, and it's all because it's in the preface of the book. Like there's a theme to this, like so you guys will see it once you get the book. It's the very first. Well, it's not even a chapter. It's a preface. It's like right in the beginning of the book.
It's a chapter.
It's the dopest chapter in the book, and then the rest is strictly about fantasy football. So hey, you can't go wrong.
We promise.
You can't go wrong. Number 1.
Entertainment.
John
Here we go.
Madden. This was so crazy. It's my idol growing up. And this is when people ask like, why six-legged turducken? And one of the main reasons is to honor John Madden. And he has a six-legged turducken every Thanksgiving. And man, this guy's, he's the football. There's no bigger figure in football. Like this is
video games, Little Giants. I mean, what more? Like he's been in all our football like childhood stories. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy, man. Everyone
Super Bowl coach,
Giants.
Raiders player, best commentator ever.
Best video game series.
He wrote a book. I think he wrote more than one book. I mean, it's best video game series ever. I used to play
Tough Acting
Tinactin. Boom. Tough Acting Tinactin. And
that was great.
I helped him out in his charity, and somebody typed boom, Tough Acting Tinactin. And then when he gave me a check, written from John Madden, I was like, the dude actually signed it too, and it said John Madden on there.
Did you? You didn't cash that?
Yeah, did you? I cashed it. Get out of here.
No,
bro, you don't remember that same year he gave me an autographed copy, 25th anniversary John Madden video game.
Madden. Oh, okay. So
yeah, dude, I got a bunch of memorabilia, but that was like the other memorabilia is just like pens and backpacks and stuff. But
should you talk about the memorabilia that I gave you at the draft?
Yeah, just go. I mean, it's dope, but
I'll be real quick. It's dope. So, one of the guys into the league, his name's Jeff. He went to my college. He's my fraternity. He's my little bro in my fraternity. Basically, he's family friends with Colin Kaepernick, which is weird. I don't know how this happened, but anyway, so Cap gives him his shoes and like his clothes to sell on eBay or whatever. So he gave him a bunch of clothes. He gives me a box of like all this Kaepernick gear. It's like his practice gear, some hats, and then one of the hats. Oh, first of all, I said Hussein, like pick something, pick one thing from this. So Hussein picks this Know Your Rights hat with Colin Kaepernick logo. You know he's worn it. Like, it was crazy. Like, to have that. It's a piece of history, I think. In the future, it will be historical artifacts. So keep that, bro. Put it in a glass box or something.
Somebody wants to ruin our parade and actually talk fantasy football. How dare they?
No, you don't. Not on this podcast.
No, we got it. That's what's tight when it's like 3 people tuning in live at
no
2 a.m. Yeah, it's all good. We'll get in there. Limber Uncle says Gurley and Hogan for Devontae Adams. And see, I hate when people do this. When you write Thomas, you know how that feels. You know how that feels when you say Thomas. Well, let's just say Michael Thomas.
Is that a first name? Is the last
name?
No,
there's a Demarius and there's a Michael. And there's probably another Tom. There's a Mike Thomas too. A Michael Thomas.
Yeah, there's a Mike Thomas.
I'm sure there's another Thomas I can't think of. Michael. Yeah, okay, Michael Thomas. Okay, he typed in Gurley and Hogan for Devontae Adams and Michael Thomas. Now,
I would definitely not trade Gurley and Hogan for
yeah, I think.
Are you crazy? Gurley, you're trading Gurley for that? I don't know.
You're gonna probably this is my main reason why I'm probably saying no. It's not because of Mike, because he likes Gurley, is because if you trade away Gurley, who was your first pick, it was a top 3 pick probably, you're probably gonna suck at running back. And then after that, if a running back of yours gets injured, then you're out the league.
You're really done.
You're not making playoffs.
This is your only chance.
He said he has Howard, Collins, and Mixon. I have RB Death.
Nope, not good enough. Not good enough to win without Gurley.
Yeah, it's tough. Just stick with Gurley. Like, if it was for a running back and a wide receiver, maybe. I don't know. We're gonna both say no on this, just because trading's tricky. Mike says no. Like, Mike says a big no.
I say no.
And I say no. I don't like the Gurley for 2 wide receivers. I don't like that.
I just don't like trading a top 4 running back. Like, that's crazy. For 2 wide receivers? You say it's 2 wide receivers, right? Yeah. You get in return. Yeah, it's
like weird. the 4th best wide receiver and maybe like the 7th best wide receiver. So
yeah, that's not...
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. RB's more important than wide receiver.
I like that though. I like that little curveball you threw in there though. I like that.
What curveball?
Like a trade, analysis.
He apologized for interrupting the party. It's all good though. But what Terry says, RB is more important than wide receiver. That's true, but it's, to be specific, they're more scarce. So the most scarce type of player in fantasy is a workhorse running back. So there's only about a dozen, if that. And some are are they workhorses? Like, soon to be, like Royce Freeman. Like, we don't know for sure. Like, I say he's going to be a workhorse, but we don't know for sure yet. So there's only a handful of like true workhorses that we know are going to be workhorses. Let's move on. So Adrian Peterson goes to Washington. I'll cover this really quick. We'll just keep moving on. So I think Adrian Peterson, I think this is a messy situation, but P. Ryan, I don't know much about P. Ryan, but I watched a lot of film on Fat Rob. He's not that good. The coaching staff, I guess, trusts him a little bit, but he's not that good. But I do know that Fat Rob beat out P. Ryan, so P. Ryan must not be that good. And sucks. I think Adrian Peterson was okay last year. I think if I had to guess who's going to take the job, it's AP. But when I say the job, put that in quotes, because what does that even mean? What does the job mean? Sounds like a crappy job. Sounds like a job that may not be that you may not want to start on your fantasy roster. Sounds like that type of job to me. So this Washington situation is very murky. That's why they drafted guys. Those guys were high-fiving. They loved when they drafted guys. Probably the 2nd best running back in the draft. And unfortunately, he's gone for the season. So what's been going on in the preseason? Who's running back by committee? That's a likely scenario, Terry. Very likely scenario. I don't know though. You know what? You know what? When it's okay for me to say I don't know, here's why. Washington doesn't know. That's probably the truth. That's probably the realistic truth, is that Washington probably doesn't know. We're about to talk about that, Francisco. So, two players that are underperforming in preseason, Ronald Jones and Nyheim Hines. I have a lot of faith in Nyheim Hines' talent, but he fumbled 4 times. I'm afraid the coaching staff may start losing trust in this guy, and maybe he was just going to be a return man only, but we'll have to wait and see. You can't be fumbling 4 times. And then Rojo, he is out here basically sucks at everything. He can't pass block. He can't catch. He can't do anything well. Like, he's one of the best runners coming into the draft. He's explosive. You know, he's got those cuts. He's an amazing runner, but we haven't seen it. I have faith that Rojo will eventually get it, but I also had faith in Mixon last year, and he kind of never got it. So there is
what about
risk.
Peyton Barber?
He sucks, dude.
Like,
get out of here.
So you think that, because I know that the coach likes to ride like one running back for the Bucks. So you think that Ronald Jones is gonna beat out Peyton Barber for the rest?
We don't know. We think that I think Ronald Jones has a good chance of things finally clicking for him. I think he's too talented not to get the ball. As of right now, it's not some rookies catch on later than others.
It's preseason.
It is, yeah. But there's both sides of the. It's all about risk. We don't know. Do you know for sure? Do you know? And nothing is 100%.
He's in a good situation though. Like, if you're a Bucks running back that they trust and they want to make a huge part of their offense, like the Bucks run a lot, so I think it's a good situation. He just has to beat out Peyton.
Yeah, he has. But I mean, right now, and somebody asked that actually. That's funny. Francisco's asking about Peyton Barber. You already brought it up. So, man, I think eventually it'll click for him. But we saw it with Joe Mixon. It barely clicked a little bit towards the end. I think Joe Mixon's gonna ball out this year. But last year it didn't. He never really panned out. Also, Melvin Gordon, remember his rookie year? He was horrible. I think 0 touchdowns his rookie year. And it's funny, they just interviewed Melvin Gordon. He's like, hey, man, for fantasy owners, I think I got to make up for that rookie year. So, after his rookie year, he started getting a ton of touchdowns. He did really well. So those two guys, their stock is down, Rojo and Hines. I guess we could say McKinnon's stock is down, too, after all that hype because he's injured. I still believe in McKinnon, though.
That's like smoke. I don't know why people are so down. He has like one light injury, and now he's just getting knocked down.
Yeah, that's why I don't pay too much attention to preseason. Is like there's some indications that help you, but you can't. It's more to me. It's more like organized practice, organized scrimmage, and depth chart chart battles. So it's
exactly like close call battles. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they're not sure. Like,
it's important, but that also means I can get this is the first this is the first time I saw Carry-On go before Rojo, and I was shocked, and I was like, that makes sense. Like, Rojo's been sucking. I mean, there's like 7 running backs on the Lions though.
Oh, in our draft when I took him,
did you take Carry-On?
I did.
Yeah, it's the first time I saw Carry-On go before Rojo, but it's not. I bet it's happening a lot though nowadays.
Oh, now
this week,
for sure.
And go ahead and read some of these names off, Mike. So here are some, their stock is rising in preseason.
Right. So we got Royce Freeman on the Broncos.
Should be the starter. He'll be the bell cow.
Could be the starter. Devontae Booker. As always,
he'll beat out Booker.
No, he'll definitely beat out Booker. I'm just saying, like, Booker's there. He's always looming somewhere in that situation. Yeah. Kerryon Johnson, he was drafted in the 2nd round, I believe, like in an actual NFL draft. He's been looking really solid in the preseason. Very strong runner, can catch the ball. I've seen him look really good on a screen pass. He's just a tough guy, tough runner. I got him in the couch draft, so I'm pretty happy about that. You like Cortland Sutton?
No, I don't. It's just a lot of hype.
You don't?
A lot of hype with Cortland Sutton. He looks talented, though. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, he's on the Broncos. Yeah, he's on the Broncos as well, and he does look talented. But, yeah, it's hard with Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders there. So Sutton will probably only be put in three
Look,
wideout
look,
sets. So it's
guys, you
harder.
have Case Keenum. That's question mark. You got the Broncos. That's
That's a
another
question mark.
question mark altogether. Ever since Peyton
Yep.
Manning left, and then on top of that, you got Cortland Sutton, who's a rookie. It's just so many question marks. I like him in deep
Way too
leagues.
risky for me.
I like him in dynasty. I'm not really. He's just another wide receiver to me in redrafts.
Typically, rookie wide receivers don't do well. Like they barely make impact. If you look in the history, like past history of fantasy rookie wide receivers, I don't know. Like you'll see that it's very hard to make a
Here's
meaningful impact
here's
as
one
a
I
rookie.
do like DJ Moore just because I think he's easily the most talented Panthers wide receiver. Last night, Mike. You know me, dude. I'm working what like 16 hours, sometimes 20 hours a day.
Oh,
I'm watching
jeez.
film on this guy
Wow.
Devin Funches. The guy, it's
Ugh,
it's really bad. Not as bad as Zay
it's
Jones,
bad.
guys, but
But are you as down on Cam Newton's passing as Kelvin Benjamin is?
no, that's what's funny is that I like when they say he's inaccurate, I'd probably have to say I don't think he's as inaccurate as people say. Like I mean he's nowhere near the surgeon that Brady is, that Breeze is. Like he
No,
just
yeah.
doesn't even pass like that. He doesn't do that. But I don't think he's horrible. I mean, give the guy somebody good, on like he hasn't had many good wide receivers. He just hasn't.
Yeah,
Steve Smith.
he
Other
hasn't.
than that, not too many names. So, I mean, look at his receivers. That's just Kelvin Benjamin. Bro, you suck, Kelvin Benjamin.
Well, his best receiver this year is gonna be, I think, Christian
Yeah.
McCaffrey.
Yeah, no,
That's
no.
my
And
personal opinion.
Olsen, I think he's old and a little bit banged up, but Olsen too.
If healthy,
But the
Olsen will
the
always be
best
fine.
wide, but there's a big question mark with Olsen. Yeah, DeCmac definitely, hands down, that's number one. DJ Moore
Yeah.
though is I think easily going to be his best wide receiver though, and you have to
Mm.
like I have to use my traditional. My research. I know this offense is different. They have C-Mac. Cam Newton's a different wide receiver. But sorry, Cam Newton's a different type of quarterback. I know this is a way different type of offense, but like a wide receiver has to do good. And the number one wide receiver on any team, I like for fantasy, and that number one wide receiver, it has to be DJ Moore. And yeah, you're saying C-Mac's basically wide receiver, but he's not. He's a running back. He's going to get a lot of targets. He's going to be good. But DJ Moore, guys, is the best wide receiver on the Panthers. It's guaranteed. What do you think? What do you
Go
think
get him.
of Michael Gallup? Is his stock rising?
Well, well, I drafted him in
Got
the
him
couch
late.
league, so yeah, pretty late. I was surprised, but I think he's definitely gonna fit. He's a rookie, obviously, so you got to temper expectations. But in the preseason, he's definitely took over for Dez's old role. I think he's gonna be the number one wide receiver. I just don't believe in Hearns being the number one receiver on the Cowboys. I just don't. He's a great complementary wide receiver too. I think Gallup has the physical tools and speed, just not the experience yet, to be the Cowboys' number one wide receiver. And if so, that's tremendous value in the late round. So I think people should target him, if you want some good wide receiver depth on your bench. And you got Mike Williams, and I'm starting to just believe the hype now. That kind of surprised me, because obviously there was no like tape on him from last season, so you just have to go from preseason. But people forget he was a top 10 overall pick by the San Diego Chargers. People don't take wide receivers that high unless they're studs. And this guy with Hunter Henry out, I mean, for a fact he's gonna get a ton of red zone targets. So is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, dude. That's where you have to find. When people look at my rankings, they nitpick. They go, "Oh, LaShawn McCoy's too late. This is like, what is up with this? Why this?" And it's
Sure. You're talking about
no,
Sure.
not him. But he comes to mind. I
Okay.
mean, a lot of people said that he wasn't the only one. There was dozens of people that
Yeah.
said LaShawn McCoy. Why? Bro, you're drafting. You're only gonna get what in a 12-team league. You're only getting 1/12 of these guys. You don't have to draft everybody. So in other words, you
Yeah.
don't have to have a list of sleepers that's 100 names. You can just have 5, 4,
Yeah.
whatever. And Mike Williams is on my list, and that's why. Guess what his ADP was last week, Mike? 1 week ago.
Let me see. Well, I have it in
No,
front of
it's
me.
different last
Well,
week.
oh,
Last
last
week
week? Oh, it's gotta be low. I would say in like the 10th
it
or
was
11th
round
round.
11. Now his ADP is round 9.
Wow.
Next week it'll be 8.
I think
it'll be higher. 8. So when I draft him round 8, I know what I'm doing. That's 10 plus touchdowns. People they're not putting in the whatever freaking logic and equation you guys are using, you're not putting in the Hunter Henry injury. How many touchdowns, how many red zone looks will Hunter Henry get? Or just last year, Antonio Gates plus Hunter Henry. How many red zones and targets and touchdowns they're going to get? Let's just say a lot. Both those guys are gone.
A lot.
And Mike Williams is healthy. And Phillip Rivers is one of the best passers in the league. I don't care what you think of his skills or anything. That's irrelevant.
I drafted him.
Just look at the yards. He throws the ball. He's a pocket passer. He doesn't run at all. He's like the worst rushes. He throws a lot of touchdowns and a lot of passing yards every year. Someone's going to catch that. It's not Hunter Henry. It's not Antonio Gates. He's always thrown to the tight end over these years. That tight end is now replaced with Mike Williams.
Great pick. That was a great pick.
And then I drafted Hines. I'm scared. Hey, not every pick's good.
Not every pick's a home run, everybody. We got Chris Godwin, Bucks wide receiver.
You believe the hype?
I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of tape on him. Have you? I'm not really
sold
on this guy. But he did beat out Deshaun Jackson.
He's had hype before the preseason, and he's beating Deshaun Jackson on the depth chart, and he's doing well in preseason. And here's something, guys. I was just talking to someone about, they asked me like why I drafted Winston as a QB2 in my 14-man league, and someone asked why. And I explained, well, one reason I drafted QB2 is because it can get messy. Like, if your quarterback gets injured, in a 14-team league, it's much harder to pick up a quarterback off waivers. In a 14-team league, there's a bunch of quarterbacks on waivers. And I drafted Winston because Winston, he's an idiot. On the field and off the field, he's been known to do moronic things. Like, there's no doubt about it. But he has the upside. He does have that playmaker ability. He does have the arm. He does love to make plays. He has 2 tight ends. They catch touchdowns. He has Mike Evans. They catch touchdowns. And Chris Godwin seems to be one of the more favorite targets. So I think if you can get him late, I like him only late because I'm not, the Bucks, man. They consistently disappoint. So if you can get Godwin late, go take him. He's a great wide receiver, 5 or 6.
Take a flyer.
Yeah, he's a flyer.
He's a flyer.
Jordan Wilkins.
This is a guy I've been hearing a lot about. I saw that Sco dropped him.
No, he added him.
Oh, he added him. Okay. So Wilkins, I've been hearing since. I don't know a lot about him either, but I know that Hines is messing up, and Marlon Mack's whatever. This guy's everyone's saying that he's gonna take over as the lead running back on the Colts.
He's all around. He's good. He's good at everything, but not great at anything. And that's why I liked Hines over Wilkins. But if Hines keeps fumbling, no coach is going to want to start him. So Wilkins, at this point, you can get him for free, and he's a running back. So why not? Then we have Geronimo Allison. He's been doing good in the preseason. He's got a lot of hype, and he's not that talented. But with Aaron Rodgers, I think if he's starting, then he's fantasy relevant. That's how good Aaron Rodgers is.
Well, someone's got to take over Jordy Nelson's targets, right? And this guy has been ready to break out the last couple of years, and I think he just fits right into. And
Randall Cobb's not been good the last 4 years. Why not if you can get him late? And then what do you think about Calvin Ridley? I got this guy. I never drafted him, but I got him super late, and I was kind of stoked.
I mean, in that offense, they're going to air it out. I mean, Julio's going to get covered. Mohamed Sanu's probably on the way down, in terms of his skill. He's getting older. This guy looks young. He looks exciting. He can go up and get the ball. I think he's going to play well off of Julio.
The best wide receiver in the draft, too, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think it's a good target. He's still kind of undervalued.
Let's talk really quick about logic here, drafting logic. Somebody's hold on, let me get this quick. Lance says, any thoughts about Baker Mayfield? Should we stash him on the bench? No, because he's a quarterback. No. You don't need it. So in a dual quarterback league, yes. In a deep league, 16-team league, yes. But in normal leagues, like the ones that one you're in probably, Lance, nah. 10-team, 12-team, nah, dude. Mike drafted Phillip Rivers in round
In the last
16
round.
in a 12-team league. Wait a second. That rewards 6 points for passing touchdowns. So if Mike is getting Phillip Rivers in round 16, the absolute last round, then why would you get Baker Mayfield? It doesn't even make sense.
Do it,
what about...
Just because you watch Hard Knocks.
He said, "What about 14-team league?" I'll say probably not. It's not the worst decision, but I'd still say probably not. What about Jimmy Graham? Come on with a... Jimmy Graham's amazing. He's got Aaron Rodgers. If Jimmy Graham stays healthy, that's a top 5 tight end. That's that. Okay, so here's the logic, guys. Look at the Patriot players that were drafted in our draft, which is a little more extreme than your usual draft, but Patriots players being drafted. Cordell Patterson and Eric Decker were actually drafted in our draft. They were drafted in the last rounds, but still. Mike took Chris Hogan. Edelman was drafted. And Rex Burkhead. Edelman was drafted round 6 after I took Josh Gordon. Who else is there? James White was drafted like round 6 or 7 something by James Whitewalker, Team James Whitewalker. Sony Michel was drafted by Mitchell, I think. Or some, I don't know. So there's so many players. Gronk was drafted. So look, Gronk, Cordell Patterson, Eric Decker, Hogan, James White, Rex Burkhead, Sony Michel. Did somebody draft Jeremy Hill? What the heck? All these guys got drafted. I'm telling you right now, at least half of these fantasy owners are gonna be wrong. That's it. There's no way all these people are gonna be right. Is this simple math or no?
Yeah, I mean, definitely whoever's taking flyers on Cordero Patterson. Cordero Patterson and who else is there?
Eric Decker. Eric Decker just got dropped today.
Eric Decker or Jeremy Hill, you're probably going to be wrong. But I'm right. I think my Hogan and Burkhead.
Hey, my trash talking's on point I got so much to do during the draft, but I still got trash talking skills. Right after Cordell Patterson was drafted, I was like, man, that's a good pick for my return league that I'm in. Because I mean, look, dude, I actually have faith in Cordell Patterson, but he's not a guy you can start and rely. Not, I mean, like in real. In real life, not in fantasy. I think he's going to be good return man. I think Belichick will use there'll be 2 or 3 games where Cordell Patterson makes a play and the defense is like, oh, what happened? Belichick will use him the right way, but for you to start him, nah, you're not gonna know. No way, you're not gonna. What's going on in the background? We're wrapping it up here.
Wrapping it up.
All right, guys. PFF, ProFootballFocus.com. Check it out. Use promo code MVP20 to save 20%, guys. Make sure you're subscribed to the Fantasy Couch YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. That's our second channel, Fantasy Couch Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to both. Hit the bell icon on both. It's absolutely free. Belichick could use... Okay, that's gross. Subscribe on iTunes. Subscribe on Stitcher, Google Play Music, however you subscribe. Hopefully you guys... Buy the book. Yes.
Buy the book.
Yes. Let your girl sleep. That's what Terry says. All right, guys. Peace out.